I'm Marnie, and I've been obsessed with documentaries.
And I'm Chrissy. I haven't, but I'm giving it a go.
We watch so you don't have to. Or maybe you do, and just want a completely fact-free synopsis.
Expect spoilers and tangents.
Because we're not here to educate.
We trade accuracy for entertainment every time.
This is the Gist Project.
Okie doke.
Hollywood Hustler. All right, Moon. I say House of Mirrors, and you say
Bex. I don't know. I think House of Cards. I think Things Breakable. I think Things Untrue. Gonna fall apart.
Okay. So you go into the psychological depth of what it means to reflect and things to not be true.
Well, right. What is true? I mean, if you are really in a house of mirrors, what is true? Nothing.
You're right.
Everything is your reflection or a reflection of a reflection.
Right.
You know, that trippy stuff, and nothing is reality, I guess, except for your corporal body. You know.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, you really went deep there, Moon.
What was I supposed to say?
Well, I mean,
Bex is another answer.
True.
I don't know why.
I mean, there's so much to say on that one.
Yeah.
I have to say, so I'm proud of your answer. Mine is so obviously more along my line of thinking, which is horror movie.
Well,
I picture being in a house of mirrors and I'm being chased and there's a panic and there's surely someone with a knife, a hatchet, or a chainsaw coming after me.
Same thing, though.
Yeah. It is. I mean, right, exactly. Like the psychological trauma of it.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like things not being real. And this is the question we're asking ourselves because we are here for yet another fucking hustle scam called Hollywood Hustler. And spoiler alert, it's about a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, which, I mean, the film explained well.
It did.
But, like, how do you even start these things?
There's got to be something either missing or something extra in somebody's brain where they're like, you know what? I am just going to go about this the easy way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and we'll get into like all of the people and how they were complicit or not complicit in this whole process. But I don't know, one goes down and another pops up.
Yeah.
This was just recently, right?
Yeah. So this is another 3-episode series. We watched it on, was this Prime? And we watched it on a streaming platform.
We sure did.
It's about Zach Horowitz, who had a $650 million Ponzi scheme, $200 million of which is still unaccounted for.
How does that even happen?
The people closest to him apparently had no idea this was happening, but throughout the series, they're like, or do they?
Right.
Dun, dun, dun. So this is the film that kind of goes through this, I guess, the beginning to the end of, or not the end, the middle of Zach, because he's still out there.
Right. Well, he's in prison, right?
Yes. He did eventually get sentenced.
Okay.
For this. But it starts off where, like, he's in college.
Right.
He's a good looking person.
Yeah.
He's obviously charismatic. Like, these
smart
people are smart. Finds a Mallory.
Well, he also had a band of friends.
Yeah, the Wolf
Pack. Ooh, they were all so. Okay, before we get into it, though, the tile, and I do think you're right. I think it is on Amazon Prime because I'm guessing we saw the same one, but let's find out. What did you see when you looked at the tile?
I actually, will you remind me what it looks like?
Okay, I'll go first. I couldn't help but think of the Johnny Depp show movie. Blow.
Oh, I don't even know if I recall this tile.
Okay, yeah.
This was watched in a haste for me.
Okay.
So I can't speak to the tile on this one.
Well,
I dropped the ball there.
But... You know that I won't do it much justice, but I wrote down a few words. Maybe this will jog your memory. Dark, Donnie Brasco. Flo, Johnny Depp.
That's it.
Abercrombie. NSYNC, Joey, fake tuxedo.
Oh,
what does that even mean?
That explains it in a nutshell.
You know, I look back at my academic career and I think to myself, no fucking wonder. Like, I can't write notes to save my life.
Well, I didn't on this one. I'm just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I did write notes in my small Japan notebook.
Well, had you written notes, they probably would have been comprehensible and they probably would have meant something instead of my whatever this means. And then the next thing under a big giant line was another fast car, because that's how we started out.
Yeah.
And similar to our O-Dog, who we love O-Dog, we don't love Zach Horowitz.
I agree with you.
I don't like Zach Horowitz.
I didn't like him at all. He didn't have, and maybe it's because they didn't interview him in the present day.
Yeah. And this is something that we should preface. O-Dog, I think the beauty of, coming back to Cocaine Quarterback, it was a great show because it really balanced the story. You could pick which side you wanted to root for or not root for. In this case, this was a very one-sided documentary.
Yes.
So we got the side of people who were willing to come forward and who are most likely a victim of what happened in this Ponzi scheme, this $650 million Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
We did not get the antagonists, who were Zach, his mom, the JMLT, who were essentially the financial firm of this thing. We did not get some of the accomplices in the process. We just heard it from people who were either upset by this, impacted, or otherwise, right? Like, so you're right. Like, we heard one side-ish of the story.
And also, like, even if we did hear his side, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. At least O-Dog was trying to pay back the cartel.
Yes.
I mean, like, he had to hustle to pay back
and not die. This guy didn't have to die.
And he was selling drugs, which when you're buying drugs, you know what you're doing, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
so these people were investing, and I guess we will get better at learning what a Ponzi scheme is and those red flags, because they did talk about red flags and how the investors really didn't see it.
Okay, so I got a good one for you.
Yeah.
So once again, this was a holiday watch with the family to include Bree, Ben, and Jeff. And Bree brought up such a great point, which is that we need an Eric Scamdar.
Oh, yeah.
So if we had an Eric Baskin looking for the red flags on our behalf, well, we have our Eric Baskin, but or a scamagram, I think was what Ben said. So Bree said scamdar, Ben said scamagram. Essentially, like, for people where if they were proposed, hey, I've got this great investment opportunity. Give me your life savings. I'll give you a return of 30% in 6 months. I mean, Moon, that sounds like a really good deal.
But if you said that to me, I would say, red flag.
Really?
I've already seen Hollywood Hustler.
From me, though.
No, I know. That's where...
No, and that's where people got sucked in.
Yes, because they trust you.
If you came to me and you said, I just made 30%, if I invested $100,000 and I just made $30,000, like, you should get in on this, I think I would do it. Now, I would consult Eric, like, hey, Eric.
Yeah.
And then he might
he would say, don't do that.
Don't do that. Even though I'd be like, but Chrissy told me.
And he'd say, well, I'll get on the phone with her and stop her from doing that.
Exactly. But I mean, I think that that's a part of the root of this issue, is that it's one thing if you're getting a call from the telemarketers from the FOP where you're like, no, I shall not give you my $25. But if it's from a trusted source, I mean, this is where lives are shattered.
Well, this reminds me, a Ponzi scheme and a pyramid scheme are very similar, right?
Yes.
And pyramid we know is a MLM.
And you get a good. Get something.
It is, but it's like, oh my gosh, you've got to try this serum because it works really well.
Yeah.
I mean, similar. We're talking dollars, millions of dollars,
Right.
probably. But a lot of people can ruin their lives buying all that LuLaRoe stuff too.
As amply demonstrated in our soon-to-be released LuLaRoe episode, where we will talk about it ad nauseum, because I'm an expert in that particular area. But you're right. People can go into tremendous debt over buying a bunch of shit they can't sell, or that is faulty, or they think that they're going to make all of this money and then they don't. And so we've got Zach, who starts out, like you said, college student, and his stepdad is quite wealthy, and I think gave him some money to start, quote, Fuel, which is spelled F-U umlaut, or whatever the dot over the U. Okay. L. In Chicago. And they stood it up, and he brought in his wolf pack and investors to build a juice bar.
Yep.
And it was in production for a couple of months, and then it went either belly up, or Zach made it seem like, hey, actually, guys, let's make movies.
Yeah.
Because I think he always wanted to be a movie star, right?
Yes. And while doing this juice bar, he said that Howard, right?
Yes.
The owner of Starbucks.
Yes, lest we forget Howard Schultz.
Yeah. He was interested. So this is what he's telling his friends and people who know him, that he saw this juice bar, wants to invest or do something.
Which there is a tie there, right? Like juice bar plus Starbucks equals, like, one could conceivably see that there's 1 + 1 = 2 there.
So he's got this story already.
Yeah, he does.
He does pay the Wolfpack 6-figure salaries
to run a juice bar,
to start up a juice bar. So that, we'll call that a red flag.
Yeah.
Too good to be true, maybe.
But I mean, if you're being paid and it's your best friend.
Exactly. That's where maybe more of the sinister element comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other person that he hearkened to was a guy named Dan Levititz.
Yeah.
And he was also a big wig in some sort of financial, I don't know. He was a big deal.
Yes.
So we had Howard Schultz and Dan, who he deemed as like his private investors.
Yep.
And he was in personal connection via text message with these dudes. So for all intents and purposes, for anybody who asked, he could demonstrate that these guys are texting me. They believe in me. They're saying Fuel is such a great idea. Go out and make it big. And then he connects with some dudes.
Yep.
The Halaviz brothers. Gustavo. No, I'm probably going to get it wrong. But the two brothers.
Julio and Diego.
Thank you. Julio and Diego, who then become involved, and they set up a production.
Yes.
So now they're in LA.
Right?
You're right.
Isn't
1 in a million.
One of his. So Mallory thought he was actually partners with Dan and Howard for 1 in a million.
I think they were the investors.
Yes. Yep. And then Julio and Diego were 2 names that were big throughout this film. But again, it was hard to keep the Wolfpack and Julio and Diego, and then Zach, because none of these people were actually interviewed.
Right. Exactly. We really, if there is some criticism I have for this documentary, it's that it was hard to keep track. It was almost like listening to our podcast. Like, and then being like, what is this all about?
Yeah.
But I mean, it kept you engaged because it showed the hustle and bustle. It showed, and he was demonstrating the acquisition of wealth to Mallory, to his friends. So over time, he was not only, quote, starring in movies, quote unquote. Number 2, he was acquiring film rights, supposedly.
Right.
So his Ponzi scheme, once he got out to LA, his pitch to his investors, who happened to be friends and family, and then the friends and family of his friends and family, so this thing started to spread organically, which was, hey, I'm getting the rights to these movies, and I'm going to then dub them in different languages.
Yep.
And nobody else was doing that with Netflix and other streaming services. Now, what people failed to do was to simply contact and find out, is this actually real? But who does that?
No
one does that.
Well, and especially because they're actually like, this is why the Ponzi scheme works. He does pay out.
Yes, he had a few like validated, and it sounds like savvy investors.
Yes. So he pays out and he continues to pay out, and they continue to say, he goes, let it ride. Well, yeah, of course, let it ride. That worked so well for me.
Make more.
But the red flag there is that those payments are so on time and regular. And so anyway, that's another red flag for us.
Well, and as we're starting to learn with our Ponzi scheme game, that the closer you are to the top, you're the first to invest. Yeah. Therefore, you actually keep getting payments owed. And in order to keep paying the people at the top, you bring in people toward the bottom, not unlike the MLM, right?
That's exactly what I thought.
So when you get Joe Schmo's grandma down here who's paid in, she's never getting the return.
No.
But her money is funneling up just enough to keep the big dogs paid. But then after a while, and as is with any Ponzi scheme, this can only go on for so long before the demographic runs out and you can no longer pay the people who you have promised to pay.
Right. And my thought is, they said it, more than one person said they thought that he would make it big in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And pay everybody off.
So,
but how big do you, $650 million?
I honestly, they referenced Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson and I share eyewear aspiration. He does it a little better than I do, but one can dream. I don't know if Jack Nicholson makes that much money where $650 million can just be paid back to people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so still live the lavish lifestyle. I mean,
right.
Boy, I don't think you're that good of an actor.
He was absolutely not. We got some clips of it.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad, actually. He was terrible. So you're right. His ambition, so if we were to compare to other Ponzi schemes and our Ponzi schemes or scams, where O-Dog was like just hustling to try to make the money back to pay El Jefe, and then everything was going to be right with the world. He was trying to make it big in Hollywood, really stretching himself to then be able to say, I'm going to be able to pay back Joe Schmo's grandma.
Yep.
But man, I think you're right. You can't live the lifestyle he was living, keep up that facade, as well as pay everyone back.
Well, it's crazy how much money. I don't know, how stressed out would you be?
Oh my God, I wouldn't be like, so I can't imagine what this actually does to your psyche. Mm-mm. Even if you believe yourself and even if you don't feel bad, there has to be a level of cortisol overload or something to just keep these stories straight.
Well, so he married Mallory, who seems like a very nice person.
Yes.
And they had 2 kids. All the while, there were ladies galore, including leading lady Bex.
Yes.
Who, she's in Vegas, right?
She is.
Oh, man, I liked Bex.
I did too.
I thought, I just couldn't help but stare at her.
Well, there was a lot to stare at. There was a lot to stare at.
But not stare, I was staring in not a judgy way, really. I just was like, wow.
Fascination.
Yeah, it was. That's it.
Yeah. She was interesting. So you've got Mallory from Santa Claus, Indiana.
So you've got the girl next door.
We sure do.
And then you've got Bex, who definitely would be opposite of the girl next door. Bex is the girl on the stage.
So what I like about Bex is that she said that she's like, I'm from Pennsylvania where everyone's ugly. I had to leave and I wanted to get out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she was unapologetic about her lifestyle, the way in which she does business and how she leads, like, I guess the way she leads her life.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm a Barbie doll.
Yep.
I want to live this life. Everything about it. So you can't not like Bex because she just is what she is.
BEXXX.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lest
that
you
you
forget.
had me there, Bex.
I know.
So it sounds like she actually still loves him too.
Yeah, or the idea of him.
The idea.
Because really, who is this Zach guy? I mean, that also kind of makes you question Bex in a sense where it's like, okay, he clearly scammed people and he clearly treated people pretty horribly, including the family he left behind in desperation and desolate with no money. Like, but he must have something stashed somewhere. I don't know, but yeah, Bex was his mistress.
Yep.
So he had Mallory and family in LA who were under the guise that this is a legitimate business.
Yep.
He had the Wolfpack JMLT, and I think T fell off, right?
JJMT.
JJMT, you're right.
T did fall off.
Yeah, so T was like, no.
I think T had a few warning bells going off, and because one of the lawyers said, well, the whole JJMT kind of did a cover your ass thing.
Yeah.
But T was the first one who
exited
and really was careful about it.
I mean, you got to kind of hand it to him. Maybe he got in and he was like all about the glitz and glamour, but didn't want to go in the slammer.
Yeah.
They said, like he's like, hold on a minute. I see where this thing is going. But he left his money in there.
Yes.
It took out enough. And he only paid, I mean, I wrote down some money here. Out of the money, Moon, JJM paid only a third of what they were owed. Tyler gave half of his money, and there's still a ton to be unaccounted for.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. So JJM and quote T were deemed to have not engaged in anything criminal. And 650 million was built over only 6 years. Mm-hmm. That is an incredible amount of money. Boom. I don't know. I mean, we could go on and on about his lifestyle. So he had Bex on the side, who, by the way, Bex had enforced the use of NDAs in order to hang out with these guys.
Yeah.
So any of the ladies that she brought into this troupe to entertain this group of men had to sign an NDA.
And they wanted new ones every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so she was a bit of a madam, if you will.
Yeah. I tell you, I think we could say more red flags would be when Chase Bank would not work with them anymore.
Right.
And then they tried City National Bank,
which was the Bank of
Hollywood.
Bank of Hollywood.
They didn't work. I feel like yeah, I had another bank thing, but now I don't know where it was. But anyway, there's a lot of, add that to the red flags.
I mean, red flags galore. I mean, but then again, you just think to yourself, things feel so real. So back to the House of Mirrors comment, like, here's something that blew my mind. You can just rent a tuxedo, get a hotel room, and take a picture in front of the Golden Globes and then post it as if you're there and stand on the red carpet. I guess.
Also, yes, he pretended he was a football player at Indiana.
Right.
Like in all these podcasts, he did a lot of podcasts, but
wasn't on ours,
and probably won't be.
No,
but he pretended he was a football player, and he lied so convincingly.
Yes,
it was like,
and without any sort of I don't know, feelings of guilt, because Mallory called him out, and she's like, and by the way, if somebody asks me, I'm going to tell them you were not a football player.
Yes, but Mallory, isn't that a red flag to you?
Yes.
Like, man, he pulls that off. Like, I would be really nervous if my husband was that good of a liar.
Well, I mean, she plays the girl next door, and I'm just from Santa Claus, Indiana.
Yeah.
And I'm all these things. But I mean, I'm sure she loved the life. I mean, he threw her a beautiful, was it her 30th birthday? Yeah. Where it was absolutely to the nines, right? Like,
well, can I say that
tie.
Whoever did director or producer of this, they're interviewing her in a really nice looking kitchen.
I thought so too.
And she looks really well put together.
Yes.
And So when I look at her, I'm like, where is that money? Because I thought you left with $100 and your parents took out all these credit cards to help pay legal fees. Like, and now you're sitting in this gorgeous kitchen.
Yes.
With your nails done and your hair. Well, she is a stylist.
She is. Yeah.
But she's dressed well. It's not like you'd expect somebody.
No, I think my wrinkles would show. Like, shit would start to go downhill. You know, like if the money stops flowing, so does the Botox, so does everything. Like all of a sudden you start to show your weathered life. And Mallory had none of that.
No.
Okay, so here we get to a point so this was also a 3-part series.
Yep.
So it showed kind of like the setup in episode 1, then it got to a little bit of the crime and how things were, like the underbelly of how this was going with the brothers and how he wasn't really that good of an actor. And we had Cole, what's his name? Craig Cole was involved, and apparently it's kind of sketchy whether or not he benefited from this thing, but according to him, he hates Zach, and that he is the reason for his demise. Yet Craig Cole is an actor and seems to not be doing too bad himself. So there's like this tension in the documentary where did people know or did they not?
Don't forget about Sue, Zach's mom.
We're going to skip to who we love and who we hate. Okay?
Okay.
Ask me.
Who do you hate?
Sue.
Yeah.
And
Why?
Well, here's the problem. Like, and I will admit, this is a total she said situation.
Yeah.
Right? So Sue is not here to defend herself, nor did she or Zach share their side of the story. And I'm always cognizant there's 2 sides. However, I cannot look past poor Steven's experience where his dying dad starts to get swindled as he's going through cancer treatment.
Yep.
And Sue is there, greedy little bitch, taking money and siphoning things off.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like her.
Handwritten will.
I don't believe it for a second.
I agree.
Who did you hate?
I also hated Sue.
Really? Okay, good.
Along the same lines, of course, because in addition to that, when Steven and his partner went to clean Dad's things out, there was a tote of unwrapped, unopened gifts from them. So she had taken them and hid them away.
She's a bitch.
So this entire time, Bob, the dad, does not think that his son gives a shit. And that's his only child and his only heir. And you know Sue is manipulating that thought process.
100%.
She is. And also everybody else's descriptors of her was like controlling. You don't cross Sue. It's Sue's way.
Right.
And she coddled her baby boy.
I mean,
I
have a baby boy and I coddle him too. I admit it, but I wouldn't go so far as to help him conduct.
Well, some people question. There was one person in this. It was the end of episode 2, beginning of episode 3. They left it on Jennifer Bowen. She's actually an accomplice. And who is she?
Oh,
so, and they didn't go much more into this, but an accomplice, they have like this Jennifer Bowen person sent an email.
Interesting.
That made her an accomplice to this scheme.
Wait, Sue an accomplice or Jennifer Bowen?
Jennifer Bowen is the email.
You wonder. I mean, so
is it Sue?
Well, that's just it. So, like, back to some of the things that really suck. So, yeah, we both hate Sue.
Yeah,
and you're right. Like, great job, Moon, in uncovering that because that was heartbreaking. Can you imagine your dad has passed and then you see all of your gifts? I would want to kill her.
And like, they had a prenup that said Steven is the only heir.
Right.
And then there were random emails from Bob to the lawyer. Emails.
Right.
And then the handwritten will. And they went to court afterwards and they settled, which upsets me.
It upsets me too.
I hope Steven got 99.9% of Bob's estate.
I hope so
and
too.
Sue got 0.01. I doubt it ended that way, but
I have a feeling it didn't end that way either. But it you're right. Like that was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
For all of the reasons. Okay. So there's the emails that are going back and forth with URLs. I'm not smart enough to be able to figure out how to do that. But then also there's an app that you can get to create fake texts. So back to our friend Zach, non-friend Zach.
Yeah.
Who is sending text messages to himself through this app to mimic or to pretend he's Howard Schultz or Dan or any number of person to substantiate his lies and the scheme.
And he also said he's starting to work with Ted Sarandos, who runs Netflix, basically.
Right.
So all of these things, and it does this starts to go off the rails a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
People are questioning, and then COVID hits.
Right.
And he's able to kind of put the investors off a little.
Can we talk about how he recouped his time to then make coaching videos? Do you remember that?
Was that
swing jumping?
Are you talking about Ray Wild?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Right.
That you could be like, okay, I guess it's us. Marty and Chrissy become Moon and Mars.
You're right.
But seriously, Ray Wild. Empire of Health and Wellness Systems. And I put a little detached with reality. But yes, the jumping up in the air push-ups
and the
gets me every time.
The pump up. I mean, I guess if you're sitting and you're sad during COVID and you're like, I guess I need a workout video and this is free on Instagram, I guess I'd be a sucker for that, but I don't know. It was
too much.
I hated it.
It's too much.
Yeah, Ray Wild, you're right.
Yeah.
So he creates this alter ego of a fitness coach
with a tiny head. I mean, at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, your head. Because he did used to be good looking.
Yes.
In the college pictures, I was like, oh, yeah, he's very good looking.
Yeah, you can see it.
But then the Ray Wild and his big muscles and his tiny head. And I was like, what happened?
Right, exactly. Who is this human?
I'm wondering what he looks like now. I wish they could have interviewed him.
Well, we could always look into this.
We
could, at any point during our lives, we can start to do research.
But not, yeah, we could.
And we could be prepared if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Let me put that right on the back burner.
We sure did. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've got the apps going for text. So this thing starts to crumble before our very eyes, right? And they get busted, I think. Do you remember the impetus to how they were busted?
Not really.
Me neither.
I think it's just a slow demise. I think the investors start to go, what?
Yeah.
Where's my money? You could only hold off for so long during COVID. I think they started to raise the red flags. Because he put off making payments for a year.
Right.
And then the JJMT's lawyers started to cover your ass.
Yeah, maybe that was it, because they were like, we think that these guys need to get out of this. And then as they started to pull out their funds or their involvement, like, he was no longer supported.
And Jake, who works very closely with Zach, started to question, hey, where is it? Where is the money? Like, we got to get this back. Where is it? And then the government put up a case within 2 months against him.
Which means they had been looking into this for quite some time.
But also somebody had to have gone and is working with the government.
True.
And they question, is it Diego? Is it Jake? Jake, at one time, Jake says he had to move in with his parents. There was an audio call where Jake calls Zach and says, we know. And it was silence on the other line.
Yeah. He wasn't going to implicate himself.
Yeah. So then Zach gets arrested. Mallory describes that.
With the kiddos in the house.
Yeah.
It was probably pretty violent. And I mean, just so sad. Wait, before we go on though, we forgot. Poor Mallory. Now, we remember what it's like to have baby and toddler and go through that, like, even in a normal life, let alone this crazy life. Then after she just had the baby, their second child, he goes off to God knows where over in Europe to film with Rafe Fiennes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I don't know if you know how obsessed I am with Rafe.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, so to me, I was like, I'll fly over there to just stand in the background. And they did get a picture of him. He was a reporter in the background, but he left his wife to be an extra. I mean, this guy's a sleaze bag.
Yes, he is.
So I just couldn't leave that, not only because I love Rafe, but also what a dirtbag.
Yeah. And they went back to Sean, who was one of his high school friends. Sean was in the military.
Yeah.
Sean lost his money. He said, he sacrificed his diligence, or I don't, maybe I wrote that.
He put his diligence on the back burner because he trusted his friends.
He did. And then it was like, it's the vacations. They lost the vacations they didn't take, the house they don't get to buy.
Yes.
That sort of thing. It's like, you're right. You've lost your future.
That is such a good point, because it was Zach who was able to take the vacations. He was able to do all of the things.
Yeah.
And he and his wife had to watch it unfold on Instagram before their very eyes. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's losing your livelihood and not being able to put food on the table, and then of course there's like not being able to take vacations.
And investments and risks, we know that.
Yep.
All of that stuff. But yeah, they didn't have Eric telling them what to do.
No. So he gets arrested. Now Bex, I gotta hand it to her. Somehow, some way, she took advantage of COVID. While COVID hit, that woman put on her business hat and started buying up all kinds of dead strip joints.
Yeah.
And she rebranded them and now has her own chain, I suppose. And it is called, do you remember?
Peppermint Hippo.
I love that name.
I do too.
Because I, like, under no certain circumstances would I think to myself, that's where I'm going to go get a lap dance.
No, and I will go because she's got franchises. We should find one.
We should find one. You're right. Let's go to a Peppermint Hippo and try to find her and say, we enjoyed your show. We enjoyed you.
Yeah.
Well, and Moon, not for nothing, here we are almost at the end of our episode with a little bit of blue balls, much like we left this entire documentary anyways. Because at the end of the day, did you feel like you got your questions answered?
No, because there's still $20 million missing.
Right.
I'm just curious where Zach's mind was at, because he is a villain, but I would have liked to see him.
Right. And understand why. Understand what was behind it. Even like the most crazy, audacious situations have a backstory.
Yes.
And while I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, except Sue.
Sue doesn't get it.
Sue does not get the benefit of the doubt. I might want to understand Zach's side and JJMT if they ever want to come forward and talk to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're about as good as Patrick J. Pespis when it comes to our investigative.
Hard hitting.
It's true. Okay, so we didn't get to the bottom of it, but we did get to see the lifestyle played out and all of the things. We were able to see how the scam went down. People lost their livelihood.
Zach was arrested. He's serving 20 years.
Yeah, which is a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a long time. Yeah. And I don't know if he's going to be able to roll over on anybody to get it lessened.
You never know.
Maybe we'll find out and we will let people know. But okay. Quote time.
Well, I like Bex's quote, and this is just, I don't know what I'd put it on, but she said, we are all a villain and a hero in someone else's story.
That is a good one. Yep. That is a good one.
That's true.
I also had a few Bex quotes. Curtain closed, anything goes. Which we can use in a bunch of different ways.
Yes.
I had another one that I liked. Armani dresses the wife, Versace dresses the mistress.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
We didn't say favorite character, but mine would be Bex.
Mine too.
Okay, I figured we were there.
I like Bex. Anybody who redeemed themselves in your mind, like throughout the story?
No,
I don't think so either. I mean, I felt bad for Mallory, and I guess
again, they made it so it was hard to really. Her interview setting. I mean, at one point she's on a dock,
right?
And I'm like, good for her. I don't think she should be in a trailer park destitute. But man, if you're trying to portray her as being a victim of this, you're doing it wrong.
Correct.
She's living the life it looks like.
Yeah. So the gist is, Ponzi scheme happened.
Yeah.
People went down. We don't know the story. Really, we're leaving with a little bit of blue balls.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get to the bottom of it. Probably not.
No.
Entertaining?
Yeah, I guess.
I would agree. I guess that's it, Moon. Anything else to add?
No, that's the gist of that.
It sure is the gist of the Hollywood Hustler.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you later, Moon.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it. You may have picked up on a fact or two.
Or just convinced yourself you did.
Either way, that's the Gist Project. Never educational, but always entertaining.